Hey everybody, All Home DIY Dad here. Today we're working on some gutter maintenance, so thought I would tune you all in on what I'm doing in case anyone has the same issues that I do or wants to see how I clean my gutters. We have tons of silver maples and a bunch of other trees in our yard that drop a lot of seeds, a lot of what we call, when your kids the helicopters. And I'm a little behind this year on getting it all cleaned out after the kind of late spring drop that they have. It's like early June they drop. So I'm gonna show you all how I clean my gutters. Pretty simple, using a leaf blower. And then I've also got this spot right here where my upper roof meets my garage roof, and there is a lot of water that collects here. It's probably the biggest downspout spot that we have, and I have a big garage, so a lot of water gets backed up. And that spot right there then overflows onto the siding and runs down onto the garage kind of cement pad outside the garage in the driveway. I'd like to get that fixed. It's been that way for a while. It doesn't cause any real issues, but it's just wet every time and it overflows. And I think I have a solution, which is putting a couple of splash guards on the gutters there. Wrap it around the back of the gutter, wrap it around the front. Hopefully that will keep some of that water from splashing out as it's coming down that downspout. Products I'll be using for today's maintenance work: I've got Ryobi 40 volt leaf blower. Really enjoy this thing. I got it recently. It's their Whisper series and it's brushless. I've got a lot of their 40 volt products, so I use this a lot and swap the batteries out. Also got 40 volt. It's kind of the Expandit series limb cutter, so it's like a mini pole chainsaw. I use this a lot, so when I'm up on the roof I like to bring it along in case any of the tree branches are hanging out. Got a DeWalt drill here to put the gutter guard and the splash guard on, and then bought these little pieces here from Home Depot, gutter screws to attach the splash guards. There's 3 of them. I'm probably only going to use 1 or 2 in today's video. And then a little giant ladder. This is an awesome ladder. I'll post a link to it for Amazon. It can go in A-frame like this, or it can be stood all the way straight, and I think this is like a 25-foot one. Works really nice for getting up on the roof without worrying about having to step too far, climb too far. Also for tree maintenance and everyday stuff. As you can see, the gutters are pretty darn dirty. A lot of debris. This isn't the worst it's ever been, but it's pretty close. And you can even see in a couple spots that you got some weeds starting to go through. And it's time to get them cleaned out. Pretty simple process. Instead of the conventional using a ladder on the outside along the whole edge of the gutter, I use a high power leaf blower and just blow them all out. It creates a little more mess on the ground, as you'll see in a bit, but it's so much faster, so much more efficient, and then you can always just blow off the ground or use a hose and get the driveway cleaned off. I've got a lot of gutters around my house. My house is long and skinny, so there's quite a bit of it, and a leaf blower makes pretty quick work. And here is the aftermath. Now that the gutters are all cleaned up, I can move on to adding the splash guards. And another tool that I didn't mention in the intro is tin snips, shown here. This will help a lot with cutting these splash guards. They're made out of aluminum, and in order to fit them behind the downspout and in the front, I needed to trim them a little bit to kind of fit the odd angle that they're at. So trimmed them up, used the gutter screws to fasten them in. I used 1.5 of the splash guards to get a decent area here so that it doesn't splash out. Should work well. I'll show the final result, which I did mess up and try to drill one of the screws into one of the brackets that actually holds the gutter up. I thought it would give it a little better hold, but turns out it just wouldn't bite and actually wouldn't get into the metal fastener. So had to move it over, fastened it into just the lip of the gutter. Just got a little extra hole, which is no big deal. Frustrating, things happen sometimes. So here's the final result. Had a little surprise on the roof when I was doing my maintenance. I figured out that
while I was blowing out my gutters that my exhaust from my garage heater was kind of buckling up, and one of the nails was popping out. So luckily I had some roof sealant on hand in the garage, a little tube, and some roofing nails and a hammer. So I went down and got those and took the nail out that was loose, pounded a new nail in the other hole, filled the hole before I did that with some roof sealant, and then covered the hole, the old one, new one, and a little bit of the other ones that looked like they were cracking in some spots with roof sealant, and it should be good to go. Here's the final result. Get some nice clear roof sealant, so you can't really see it all that well, but not too worried about any further leaks. If you like this video, please subscribe to my channel. Post any comments below.